What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster, and in a couple of days, a video game is releasing that is the epitome of progressive and woke, and this appears to be the response from the gaming community at large.
Nobody gives a shit!
The player count and pre-order numbers for Life is Strange Double Exposure are a clear signifier that the landscape of the video game community is changing. The thing is, when the original Life is Strange game released, it was at the beginning of the woke revolution in video games, and it was a modest hit for a game with a fairly small budget. The game hit about 18,000 concurrent players on Steam. Fast forward a few years later, and Life is Strange 2 was a big hit with a bigger budget. It hit almost 470,000 concurrent players and sold a few million copies according to Gamealytics here.
Oh, goody.
But the thing is, as I've documented in this space many times, the world is shifting, particularly in the video game spaces here. These games, these progressive woke piles of dung, are no longer succeeding. The tourist wokesters who invaded these spaces have left, because they don't actually give a rat's rear end about games. The new Life is Strange game, Double Exposure, is set to come out in just a couple of days. They are in the early access stage, and the player count is laughable. Gamers have been taking back their culture, and games like Life is Strange are being abandoned by their modern audience.
Okay. Hey, let's just all stay calm. Oh, Alex! Oh.
Nice friends.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me on X, where I keep a list of woke and DEI infected games pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over on that platform is Dr. Disaster 1. But alright, let's look at what we've got going on here with Life is Strange Double Exposure, because the series really tracks right along with how the progressives hollowed out the video game hobby. As I said earlier, the first one got about 18,000 concurrent players on Steam, being a pretty big hit with what was reportedly a fairly modest budget. A few spin-off games have come out and done similarly, but the sequel really blew up for them about 5 years ago. That was right when woke culture was at its peak in the gaming industry. Based on all the games that we are seeing today, the developers really thought that this was the future. They didn't count on gamers turning their backs on this shit. But the thing is, a lot of gamers are automatic purchasers of new games from studios they admire, or at least they used to be. But people are waking up from their slumber. They aren't sleepwalking into these purchases any longer, which is why we have seen so many of these big failures this year that are absolutely categorically woke. Games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, games like Concord, games like Dustborn, games like Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, all of those games have been failing miserably. The gaming industry professional analysts talk about how there has been a major downturn in the industry at large. There is a lot of doom and gloom, but what none of them will acknowledge is that a large section of potential customers simply will not purchase new games these days if they look even remotely woke, which Life is Strange is about as woke as it gets. These games were clearly made for a modern audience, but the new version, the new sequel, seems to be selling like absolute shit. Let's look at the evidence. First of all, they are in early access for the game right now, and over on Steam, they are currently at only a couple hundred people playing the game right now, with a max concurrent player count of about 1,400 people. Now, granted, this number will go up when the game officially releases in about 2 days, but it's difficult to imagine it will do much better than the original game when it was a brand new IP with no built-in fans. Now, let's look at the pre-orders on PlayStation. These are the most purchased games that are pre-orderable right now. It's behind Dragon Age The Veilguard, which is to be expected. That game is built on a very successful IP, though it's wearing it as a skin suit, but that's a whole other topic. But the thing is, Life is Strange isn't even beating Monster Hunter Wilds, which doesn't release until the end of February. That is 4 months away. Sure, Monster Hunter is a massive IP, but the majority of pre-orders happen when marketing picks up in the last few weeks before a game comes out, so the fact that Life is Strange is losing to that game is pretty sad. But that's not our only indicator that this game's sales outlook is bleak. If we look at the Amazon top sellers in the video game category, it doesn't even break into the top 100. Though, in fairness, Dragon Age doesn't break into that either. But here is what is truly pathetic. If we filter our search so that we're just looking at PS5 items on Amazon, Life is Strange barely cracks the top 100 on there. It's all the way down at number 95, sitting just behind Monster Hunter Wilds, which you can see at number 93 here. It's even more pathetic over on Xbox. If we search the top 100 on there, it doesn't even show up. If you look at number 100 there, though, it's the deluxe edition of the Sweet Baby Inc. mega flop, Alan Wake 2. That is completely embarrassing for a game that is set to release in 2 days. Now, as I said, I think this is a sign that the culture in video games is changing. The woke turds descended on video games like a swarm of locusts, and a lot of people refused to notice what was happening for a long time. They would just go along with everything that was being put out and buy things up no matter how many times they were warned that this ideology was ruining games. Games like Battlefield 5, as an example, sold way more copies than it should have. Same thing with The Last of Us 2. Cultural auto intake is a phenomenon that gamers were definitely a part of, but things have changed. By my estimation, 2020 was the zenith for the progressive infestation in our culture, and now we are watching as this element slithers away. People are rejecting this shit, finally. It will take a few years yet for this type of game to stop being made. After all, it takes years for games to develop, so things coming out in the next few years will have been originally conceived of during a different time, but that time is no more. The lackluster reception of this game seems to be evidence of that. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop some mockery of Life is Strange into the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.